When working with if statements, we are going to have some decisions to make about how to structure our code. In this lecture, we will examine two problems and explore alternative solutions involving if for each of the problems. This example problem involves two grades, grade 1 and grade 2. We'll give grade 1 the value of 70 and grade 2 gets 80. Now there's an if-elif statement on lines 4 through 7. There's a Boolean expression associated with the if and another Boolean expression associated with the elif. These expressions are evaluated from top to bottom, and when one of the expressions is true, the body associated with it gets executed, and the if statement exits at that point without continuing on to evaluate the subsequent expressions. Because of that, at most one of the two print statements will get executed in this case. So let's look at this code. If the grade 1 is greater than 50, and it is, we enter into the body of the if. And at this point, because one of the expressions associated with the if was true, the if statement will exit after executing this body. So we jump down to line 9. On line 9, there's another if statement. And on line 11, there is a third if statement. The condition associated with the if on line 9 is the same as the one on line 4, and the condition associated with the if on line 11 is the same as that associated with the elif on line 6. However, because this code from lines 9 through 12 is two separate if statements as opposed to the if-elif that exists on lines 4 through 7, it behaves differently. We first evaluate the expression associated with the if on line 9, and it's true, so we enter into its body and print a message. And at this point, we will exit that if statement, moving on to the subsequent code. And that code is line 11, where there's a separate if statement. This Boolean expression is also true, so in this case, its body is executed as well. So the if-elif is not equivalent to two if statements, and we need to take that into account when we're writing our code and take care to use the appropriate structure in each situation. Let's consider another problem. This problem involves predicting whether we should bring an umbrella or not. So we'll take into consideration whether precipitation is expected, using a true or false value, and what the temperature is for today. Temperature in this case is plus 8 degrees Celsius. This if statement first checks the condition to see whether precipitation is expected, and that is true. So we enter into the body of the if. And in the body, there is actually another if statement. One if statement is nested inside the other. We can then check that Boolean condition and find that it is true, so we print the message, "Bring your umbrella." I want to modify this code so that we write a second version without the nesting. Notice that when precipitation is true, the condition associated with the first if, and the condition associated with the second if is also true, that's when we print "Bring your umbrella." So they both need to be true. We'll use the Boolean operator AND to state that, and that way we can structure this as a single if statement. Let's visualize the execution. In the first case, the variables have values that cause us to print "Bring your umbrella." And in the second case, we evaluate this Boolean condition. Precipitation refers to the value true, temperature refers to the value plus 8, so this expression is also true, and the message "Bring your umbrella" is displayed. Now let's expand on this example. I'm going to add an else to the if statement on line 5. This else describes the statement to print when temperature is not greater than 0. I'm going to now edit the code on line 10 to make that if statement equivalent to the one on line 4. Let's look at the conditions under which the else code executes. The precipitation condition needs to be true. The temperature greater than 0 condition must be false, and then the else is executed. So we can express this using an elif. We want to make sure that the first condition is true, and we don't need to check the second condition because we'll only reach the elif when that is false. In that case, we'll print the same message as above. Let's visualize the execution now. In fact, there's one more thing to do. Let's make this a -3 so that it's below freezing, and we print those messages. So if precipitation is true, we enter into the body of the if, checking this condition, because I just changed what temperature refers to, it's false, and we print the statement from the else. In the second if statement, we check the first condition, which is false because temperature is not greater than 0. Now we must check the elif clause, and this condition is true, so we enter into the body of that elif, and we print the same message. So these two pieces of code are equivalent.